Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for the creative and curious amongst you. It's a place for you to explore new and existing interests and skills, taught by real people with real experience. Now I get loads of emails every day from viewers asking me how I edit my videos, how I record my audio, how I write my scripts and such. I do my best to respond to a few with the limited time I have, but the honest answer is, even I'm still learning. Thankfully, there are loads of amazing courses on Skillshare to help you get started on YouTube, and whether you're a newbie or a seasoned pro, there are classes to suit your skill level. One that's helped me out a lot recently was YouTube Success, Script, Shoot and Edit with MKBHD. The course was expertly taught by Marques Brownlee, and like all Skillshare courses, was split up into easily digestible segments that allowed me to learn at a pace that suited my schedule and study style. The course not only covered the basics of getting started on YouTube for all of you budding content creators out there, but even an old dog like myself learned a lot of new tricks about hooking an audience and growing my channel. So if developing new and existing skills sounds good to you, head down to the description box below and find my link. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click it will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Again, click my link in the description box below, sign up, and start exploring your creativity today. In recent years, many people have started installing doorbell cameras like Ring to help monitor their properties. Living in some quiet, sleepy suburban neighbourhood, you'd hope that yours would never capture anything sinister. Unfortunately, for the owners of this Ring device, theirs did. November 12th, 2019. Just after 11 PM, residents of Jefferson Park, LA, were awoken by the screams of a woman begging for someone to help her. Witnesses say that they saw a man forcefully dragging a woman by the hair into the passenger seat of his car. The car's passenger side window had been covered by a plastic wrap, so none of the onlookers could get a good look at the woman's face, though they all agreed she had dark, braided hair. The woman screamed, "Somebody help me! Help!" And if you listen closely, you can hear the man shout, "I'm sorry." He then sped off with her, the trunk of his vehicle wide open. The residents of the street immediately called the authorities. Investigators arrived and asked around, but found nobody in the neighbourhood had been reported missing. With no evidence to work with, they packed up and went back to the station. When they were shown this footage the following day, however, they officially began their investigation. Sadly, very little is known about what actually happened that night. Even after 2 years, the identity of this screaming woman remains unknown, as does the identity of the man who drove off with her. Though nobody from Jefferson Park had disappeared, the woman could have easily been from a different neighbourhood. There were various other women who had been reported missing in the local area around that same time, though to date, none of them have been linked to the woman in this video. Whoever she is, her whereabouts and well-being remain a mystery to this day. You may have seen this video floating around online recently. It was first posted on the Carlos Ruiz official TikTok channel, but has since gone viral. The clip shows a man preparing for his training session in an empty part of a gym, when he's suddenly interrupted by a number of strange occurrences.
No, mire, la luz. Fue fruta. Mire. Y de esto hay una segunda toma, ahorita le muestro la segunda toma y hay cosas que no se ven en la primera. Échelo ahí, mira eso.
Uy, ¿eso qué pasó? ¿Por qué eso se mueve?
Esa vaina es pesadísima, eso es pesadísimo.
¿Sí?
Sí, parece eso es una energía muy mala.
¡Ay, Dios mío! ¿Qué le pasó?
Mamá, mire.
No, eso no es normal.
Sí, yo sé
eso
que...
no es normal, no. No, tiene que...
Haunting stuff. Now, the exercise ropes moving by themselves could be explained by a strong air conditioning unit or by a breeze coming in from an open window, but notice how the cloth beneath the ropes doesn't move at all. The wind theory also doesn't explain why the medicine ball moved. Anyone who's ever held one of those in their hands will know how dense those things are. Even a strong gust of wind wouldn't push those things around. The light in the doorway turns off seemingly by itself, which in the context of this video is odd. But take a closer look at the start of the clip. You may have missed something. Before all of these disturbances occurred, an ominous figure can be seen watching the man from that very doorway. Of course, the thing that made this video go viral was the man being dragged by some invisible force. Most viewers agree that his movements look very authentic. His leg not only appears to be pulled out from under him, he also slides across the floor without using any of his limbs, and at one point even gets lifted off the ground in a way that many people say is impossible to do by oneself. But what do you think? Was this staged? Was this a ghost? Or is there another, more grounded explanation for what happened to this guy? Let me know down in the comments. In August of 2017, this CCTV footage was released to the public. It shows a jogger on London's Putney Bridge pushing a woman into the path of an oncoming bus. Thankfully, the driver reacted quickly and swerved out of the way just before crushing her head. As far as we know, this push was completely unmotivated. The woman had never seen the jogger before in her life, hadn't bumped into him or said anything to him. Why he targeted her remains a total mystery, though that doesn't mean it was random. As you can see in the video, he runs past a man before deliberately veering into the woman's path and pushing her instead, suggesting he either wanted to go for an easier target or was specifically targeting women. During their investigation, detectives looked into more than 50 suspects, but ultimately, the jogger's identity was never uncovered. Who was he, and what was his motivation? Was he crazy? Did he hate women? Had he been planning on doing this for a long time, or was this a spur-of-the-moment decision? Had he done anything like this before? Has he done anything since? Whatever the answers are to those questions, this video serves as a reminder of life's fragility. On any given day, we could cross paths with an unhinged person just like this, and without warning, they could take everything away from us in an instant. This woman got lucky, but things could have easily ended very differently. On June 15th of this year, a video was posted to the r/ghosts subreddit. It shows a young boy named Elijah, the only child in the house, dancing to a song on the TV. While dancing, Elijah notices something that visibly catches him off guard. Did you see it? It's much easier to catch when it's slowed down. This video was posted with the title, "Posting for a Friend, Not on Reddit." He had this recording of his son dancing to music. Upon watching it later, he notices another child there. You can see a child move in from right to left in the background. Dancing child pauses and makes eye contact, then Ghost moves to the left. Elijah's father soon made a Reddit account of his own and commented, "Hey everyone, this is Tony N. I recorded this video 11 years ago when my son Elijah was about 3. At the time, I was just making videos of my son dancing, not expecting anything else. About 7 years ago, I was watching the video when I noticed another figure behind him. At the time, it was just Elijah, my mum, and I living at the house. We didn't have anyone else there. When I noticed this figure, I just told a few people about it. I've always wondered what it was. I still live in this house with my girlfriend, a roommate, and Elijah. Today, my roommate told me about the giggling at 14 seconds that someone pointed out. I've never noticed that until today.
Elijah, go like this. What are you dancing to?
With the image slowed down and enhanced, you can really make things out much easier. At the moment the giggling is heard, this uncanny, shadowy figure can be seen with its head tilted, as if it's lifting its hand to cover its mouth as it laughs. The appearance of this small, dark figure is chilling in its own right, but Elijah's startled double take is so authentic, and combined with the giggling, makes this video seem all the more real and creepy. I don't know what's going on in Tony N's house, but if I were him, I'd be looking for another place to live. Colleen Ritzer was a 24-year-old maths teacher at Danvers High School near Boston, Massachusetts. On the evening of October 22nd, 2013, Colleen had asked some students to stay after school and work on their algebra. One of those students was freshman Philip Chisholm, then 14. Colleen, who was a well-liked teacher at the school, was seen by other students chatting with Philip, discussing his old hometown. This conversation inexplicably seemed to make Philip very upset. Colleen quickly changed the subject. Shortly after that conversation, Colleen was caught on a surveillance camera leaving the classroom to go and use the bathroom. After several seconds, Philip, too, was caught stepping out of the classroom and looking down the hallway. He thinks for a moment, toying with an idea in his mind. He hesitates and dips back into the classroom, only to re-emerge with his hood now up. He walks down the hallway, puts on a pair of gloves, and enters the women's bathroom. It was there that he slashed Colleen's neck with a box cutter. He then raped her remains. 11 minutes later, he was caught on camera leaving the bathroom, carrying with him Colleen's black trousers. The video later shows Philip pulling a wheelie bin into the bathroom, then, moments later, dragging it back out. He had just put Colleen inside it. The footage shows him wheeling the bin down the hall, then out of the building and into a nearby wooded area, where he dumped Colleen and defiled her once again with a tree branch. After half-heartedly covering her with leaves, he returned to the school and acted as if nothing had happened. Colleen's remains were quickly discovered. Thanks in large part to this footage, it didn't take long for investigators to piece everything together. In court, Philip's defense team tried to argue that he was hearing voices and therefore wasn't responsible for his actions. Well, nobody was convinced by that, and Philip later confessed that he had been angered by a trigger word while chatting with Colleen. He never said what the word was. In the end, Philip was sentenced to a minimum of 40 years, after which he'll be eligible for parole. Thank you to all of my patrons and YouTube members: Alex Greensall, Alunír, Azrael Warakai, Charlie Lackey, Connor Louthan, Crawford K. McDonald, Event Horizon Records, Expand Ong, Gina Valera, Gracearchie, Infamous-senpapi, Leonardo Martinez, Lord 210, Mackenzie Griffin, Mira Lancaster, Monica Mendoza, Native Beauty, Natalie Escobedo, Peter Lulgjuraj, Philip Westre, Procupidine Natter, Ronnie Franklin, Sarah Ramirez, Sean M. Brenner, Silas Geist, Sloane Crawford, Taylor&Monica Gruenk, The Only Dorita, Ms. Crypto, Mrs. Yvonne Rankin, Ali Webster, Damian Bennett, Hungry and Hammered, Boise McSnatchy, Hamish K, Joshua Perez, Lydia Glossley, and Phantom Knight. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. Smash that like button or I'll smash you. And remember, the best things happen in the dark.